Welcome to SofSol TV. Welcome to SofSol TV. It is my honor and pleasure to have with us today SkyPoint, the Covics. We've got David and Penny Covic all the way in Waikato, Hamilton.
Hey.
And the purpose of SofSol TV, as you all know, is to spotlight things that New Zealand resellers need to know. We've got, so David and Penny from SkyPoint. Tell us a bit about your background as a reseller.
Okay, so we've been in this game for me, a long time, over 25 years anyway. So, and prior to that, we were involved in corporate. So I was involved with Fletcher Challenge, and prior to that, the banking industry. And Penny?
Yeah, and so my background also came from the banking industry, which I started when I was 16. And then through into the IT industry, working mainly in HR and operations, and yep, just whatever it takes.
And you've been in you've both been in IT 20 odd years, couple of decades.
Well over that actually, but that's another story. We were just comparing notes before, and DOS we both remember, so that's a good thing.
Not me.
I'm old enough to know it's disk operating system, so you can't pull that one across me. So,
excellent.
Now, today we're going to be talking about what SkyPoint's doing in terms of human resources. They're doing quite special things in terms of finding the right people, hiring the right people, and making sure they learn and grow with the SkyPoint team. But before we get into that, we have joke opener. Let's see what we have. A friend of mine always helps me out with maps and diagrams, pointing out all the little symbols and what they mean. The guy is a legend.
Very good.
Sorry. Moving
Was
right
that
along. I'm not paid to be a comedian, but moving right along. That is joke opener. We are just in level 2 of COVID. Lots of companies going back to work. And as part of going back to work, some businesses are also hiring as well. And part of that is making sure you hire the right people. SkyPoint, you mentioned that you always put people first. Do you mean staff or customers or both?
Both. Yeah, absolutely essential. You've got to put people first. When you talk about the IT industry or any industry for that matter, you're serving others. And there's no difference whether you're talking in the context of your team or your customers. Everyone's got to serve somebody, and we don't have a business unless we do that properly. So it's putting others before yourself with your team. It's looking out for your team, looking out for their families even, because it's when you bring somebody into your team, you're actually not just bringing them, you bring their families, and often an extended family as well. With your customers, you're not just dealing with one person, the IT guy, you're dealing with the directors, the owners, the people that are maybe driving forklifts. You're dealing with everybody. You're dealing with them as a complete entity. And it's important that you always make the focus them and what they do. And so, yeah, put people first. It's absolutely essential to business.
If it came to the crunch, if it was a customer versus a particular customer versus a particular staff, is there one way or the other that you lean towards in terms of putting first?
It's a good question.
It's a trick.
Yeah, it is.
It depends on the context of the question, really. If you're saying, what we tend to find anyway is that there are often certain staff that work really, really well with certain types of people. So a part of what you've got to do is match the people, your engineers, your technicians, your partner managers, to the people that you are serving. So, and sometimes that will mean that you change the people that relate to a given customer. And that's important. It's making sure that you've got the right fit to actually make the relationship thrive.
Actually, that's quite interesting. What kind of categories do you find a given customer and a right staff that builds the right fit? So it doesn't sound like it's just naturally a technical fit, but there's a personality or people fit, and how do you decide how that works?
I guess probably over a quarter of the businesses we support would be non-profit or charitable trusts. You've got to actually relate to those at a far deeper level than a traditional business relationship. So it's really important that the people that you are working with them on a day-to-day basis understand their values, understand what they're trying to looking to achieve, what spins their wheels, what gives them value, and actually not only looks at it from a technical relationship, but also from a heart point of view. So we actually understand their values, what they're trying, the difference they're making out there in the community, and that we've got to link with that and understand that so that we can in turn bring the right solutions into play to help them make that relationship or facilitate that relationship a lot better.
I think too, we're very intentional about a customer is a SkyPoint customer. So it's very much a team approach to looking after the customer. So it's never really one person, it's the team. And
I think that's true. Well, probably coming back to that, it's not about us, it's not about you or me, it's about them. And that's where service really comes down to. It's not about the individual. It's not a place for egos. It's a place where you put people in front of yourself, and that it's easy to say, it's harder to do.
Yeah, that's very true. Is there any processes that you sort of put in place to sort of demonstrate, putting people first? How is that for an average, a SkyPoint employee? How is that visible?
Yeah, we're talking about that, weren't we? It's actually, we don't feel it's complicated or any big secret, but it's probably just lots of doing little things consistently and doing it well, and little traditions of, weekly catch-ups, monthly, annual events with team and family, lots of coffees, one-on-one, just how are they? So we don't make it complicated.
It's keeping it simple, and it's taking an interest on who they are personally, not just as an employee. We think of ourselves, the whole team, as a team. We think of ourselves as a big family, I guess, and including their families. So when you're shifting house, or whether you're whatever you're involved with and whatever's happening in your life, we want to be a part of that and actually encourage and help. And over this COVID time, that's been quite interesting for us, and you would have experienced the same sort of thing where you are, say, having a Zoom call together or a Teams call, and you're having the kids and the cats and all the other stuff going on as well, and everyone takes interest in that and actually has a lot of fun in doing that as well. And so it's keeping the buzz despite the tensions and the frustrations and the COVIDs of this world. It's maintaining that team buzz, and you do that through looking out for others. And
I think, when you've got the right team and the right people, a lot of that happens. You don't have to make it happen. Yeah.
And the key is that they begin to do that as well. So a good team will actually function, and they'll do that. Everyone starts doing that naturally in their own right. So everyone's looking out for others. And I think that's one of the things that encouraged us most over this COVID time, is that people were checking in with each other and making sure that people were going okay. And that was great.
Right, cool. Is there particular processes? Is that birthday cakes from SkyPoint, or I don't know? Is it?
Yes, we do those.
I guess, is there any kind of particular processes that other partners could go, heck, that's a good idea. I'm gonna totally steal that SkyPoint business process and copy it for my team. Without giving away too much IP, like, is there anything kind of unique that someone could learn from?
No, but there is birthday cakes actually, and it's fun to celebrate those things that are important to the individual and to do that. And and things like Friday wrap-ups, you know, it's get the cheese and the chips on and drinks on the table and chill out together. So you just create that environment where there's natural connection.
Nice.
So the things that we enjoy doing is like on your birthday, take a day off, just enjoying your days out and enjoying our team. One of the things that we really enjoyed seeing was when we came back together in our office last week, we found that the guys had a board games night in the boardroom. They just really enjoyed the buzz of being back together. And I think that shows a good health, team health and culture. So it was just nice seeing some of the practical fun bits actually coming to the fore again. And I think when you haven't sort of been hanging out together for a couple of months, you start to value being together a hang of a lot more.
And there's some annual competitions, you know, whether it's 10-pin bowling or laser tag out in the bush or
luge races or something like that. You got to do it. You got to have fun.
Yeah, nice. And in terms of vetting applicants to ensure that they're the right fit, what process do you currently use? Has it been working for you? You know, how do you ensure that someone is the right fit culturally and gonna raise their average tenure?
Yeah, it's been interesting because a lot of people ask us, how do we find our people? Because they recognise we just have such a great team, and we've thought about it's a lot. Again, we haven't made a complicated process, but we generally follow the whole process through ourselves so that it's really personal, that from the CV to the phone conversation to probably quite a few coffees, and then the team actually become part of that as well. So seeing that they've obviously got to have the technical skills and they've got to be really high and someone that wants to keep challenging themselves and grow, but then it's the personal skills, and that's we overlay that with what we call hungry, humble, smart, and it's looking for someone that's it's not all about themselves. It's they're sort of very team focused and always wanting to learn, and the smarts is the just really good at interpersonal skills, and so we're very sort of intentional at looking at those aspects of an individual as well.
What we realise is that if you have the wrong balance, it can really cause an issue for your team. So it's very important that not only anybody coming through the doors just feels at home with our team also looks out for them, that they have the right balance, and so it's not all ego about them. It's actually people who share the same sort of values. We talk about partnership, transparency and collaboration. We talk about sort of core values like that, and within our team, they're not only looking out for each other, they're looking out for the customer. It's not dollar focused per se, it's people focused. And if we put people first and we maintain that focus, and the people that come into the organization share those common values, we find that business follows relationships. So if you're doing the face-to-face stuff well, if you're relating well, then the opportunities will come if you're putting them first. And because then any solution that you're proposing will be in the context of that relationship and looking for the best for the customer and not solely for the dollar.
Yeah, nice. And staff training at SkyPoint. How do you make sure that you're spending the right amount of investing the right amount of training for the right people? How do you find that balance?
That's a very good question. It's I think one of the focuses we have is never stop learning. So everybody is encouraged to learn and develop themselves both personally and professionally. That never stops, and never think you know it all, because the moment you make that mistake, you're going to stop moving ahead. So for our team, we always encourage them to expand their horizons, both technically and personally. So we encourage them to look at a couple of areas that they can develop and have a focus. That being a Microsoft shop strongly, We are always doing attending more courses. We attend, it might be a StorageCraft courses or Fortinet courses or security courses or whatever. So everybody is expected to learn and to develop the skills they have. And there will be a lot of context to that too. So we're intentional about the things that our customers are doing, we want to be good at, and we want to be able to give them good thought leadership and guidance in terms of IT and communication. So we're always very focused on the learning that we do has to have context in terms of the business because there is a host of stuff you can do out there. The difficulty is defining what's the most important sometimes, because they're all important, but it's what's most important.
Yep, nice. Is there a underrated or unknown process to help put people first?
We talked about that. I think the most important one is face-to-face. In an age where we can do so much virtually via conferencing, things like that, the face-to-face is often underrated in the sense that people are not being intentional about being with their customers, and not virtually but physically. It's getting out there, walking with them, talking with them, understanding who they are, understanding their team. You can't do that remotely. Over 50% of the of understanding a person, how they are, is actually by noticing their body language, understanding how they come across. You can't see that by just looking at a screen.
And it's even like, it's that thing we often compare, like if once you've been to someone's home for a dinner or a drink and they've been to your house, you suddenly know each other like just a whole lot better. And so we look at the same thing with our customers. You know, once you've been to their business and they've been in and met our team and seen where we work from, the relationships just at a different level, and we just really enjoy it. You know, we love it when a customer can come in and have morning tea with us, or vice versa. You know, we really love to encourage our team to get out there, all of them, to all our customers' sites. Nice. So yeah, we just, you know, you can work remotely and efficiently really well without question, but yeah, we just are really strong on you can't beat that face-to-face as well.
I guess you can boil it down to one old-fashioned term. It's hospitality. I think perhaps two things that are key for people to think about is hospitality. That's taking people for coffee. It's having them come to you as much as you going to them, and gratitude, being thankful. I think there's a lot of people that just take business for granted. You've got to be grateful for the and saying thank you and being grateful and demonstrating that gratitude to your customers. It cannot be understated or underrated.
Yeah, I often joke with our team that we don't have a marketing budget. We've got a coffee budget. That's, you know, because it's word of mouth.
Getting FaceTime and building that relationship is so key to our business, to our industry, and so much gets done over a cup of coffee. In all seriousness, so
so true.
Okay, let's wrap up with famous five, and I can actually guess or answer. We'll probably take turns with the easy questions. Company stats, head count. I believe you're up to 16. Yep. What was the first year of operation?
2014.
Yep, that's 2014, 6 years ago. Another easy question. An IT vendor you're watching and why?
I think the simple one came out over the break, but I call it the break. Over April, Microsoft announced that they're going to move into New Zealand space with the data center. So we're watching that with keen interest. All vendors will probably be watching that because it'll be interesting to see the dynamic and how that changes.
Yeah. Microsoft coming to town. Favorite business book or podcast?
We've got lots of them.
We have too many. I'll put in a pitch for the Ideal Team Player. That's the Hungry, Humble, Smart thing that we talk about. Extremely good for, worth a read if people are looking at how they build their teams well.
Nice.
And another one here, leaders eat last. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek.
And the reason why I love Simon Sinek. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Two good books there. What did you wish your 20-year-old self knew? I'll take one of you for whoever is not giving me the vendor joke. We'll take a Penny. 20-year-old self.
Oh, take on
Excellent.
me. So what was the question? What was the?
What did you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Yeah, actually we talked a lot about it, thinking, you know what, and in some ways I think it would just be encouraging to take every opportunity and, you know, learning and gleaning from those around you, and take risks. You know, don't be courageous.
There you go. Take risks. And vendor joke closer, I believe, goes to David.
Yes.
It's a dad joke. Somebody asked the other day, definition of a virus, and it's a terminal illness. But anyway,
that's
there you go.
There you go. Putting people first, not necessarily terminals first, people's first from SkyPoint. Thank you very much for your time from Waikato. Please let us know which is the winning joke, as well as your comments and likes. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Cheers.
Righty.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You can press stop recording now.
Yeah, trying.